crypto is rocking us again. And if you're like me, you're probably numb at this point to those market movements. Even though it is ugly, it feels bad to look at those prices, and sentiment is very low. People are nervous, they're frustrated, they're fighting. There's a lot of negativity now on Twitter. Everyone is just very, very bearish and losing interest and capitulating as well, right? Which is part of the game, part of what we sign up for. And I think you can't really have max gain without going through max pain. And crypto max pain just hits different, as you can see here, rightfully shared by Coinburo. Well, one of the reasons we're going down, especially today, is probably also because there's a huge liquidation spiral going on right now. Not the biggest one, but I mean, almost $1 billion, most of which is happening on ByBit, a lot of liquidations, which is the largest perps exchange out there, centralized exchange, that, by the way, the other day also got hacked, and apparently North Korea's Lazarus Group is behind that $1.4 billion hack. That was not a technical security breach, but actually, I guess, social engineering, because they got the multi-sig signature approved from the ByBit team. So there was a multi-sig cold wallet that approved a transaction to move funds to a warm wallet, and then that got drained somehow. Mostly ETH or liquid staked ETH or Ethereum assets, but yeah, there was a brutal hack, and I think it yet again reminds, or should remind you, to not only hold self-custody as much as you can, but also to diversify, to not use centralized platforms to park or save your money, right? Rather, diversify on multiple wallets, ideally on hardware wallets where you hold full custody of, and only you, right? And no one else. So very, very important to have your security game right. So please take your security setup very, very serious. Phishing attacks and social engineering is extremely sophisticated these days, and it's just very, very important to have a solid setup, and also to be fully accountable for your own finances, right? Because that's what crypto does in the end of the day. It also forces us to be responsible and hold self-accountability, which is not the case in the traditional financial system, right? If you have your money on your bank and that bank makes a mistake, you can call someone. You can try to retrieve those funds or to save those funds. But in crypto, they're just gone. You can't call anyone. Anyways, looking into Cosmos price movements, we're also seeing a bloodbath, double digits in the reds, and we're on extremely, extremely low levels already. Now another 10-15% discount, which obviously, and you probably don't want to hear this, but I think you should hear this, is another buying opportunity. It's another opportunity to stack your favorite tokens. All these tokens are on huge discounts, except from Mantra probably, which is at around $8, right? And this thing was at $1 like a year ago, at 10 cents like almost 2 years ago. So this thing is in its own bull run. But besides Mantra, everything else is down bad. dYdX 65 cents, even Akash 163, Osmo is still at 30 cents, which is like crazy to me. So huge discounts, yes. Of course, crypto is extremely risky, volatile. Everything can just go to zero like that. IBC can get hacked tomorrow. It can all be over tomorrow, right? It would not be something that we haven't seen before in crypto, that large protocols or whatever get hacked or go to zero. But I think in Cosmos, or Cosmos technology stack, is one of the most innovative ones. I truly believe in the app chain thesis, in the concept of sovereignty and interoperability, and I have some proof that this is actually the right path for crypto, right? The internet of blockchains, all around sovereignty and interoperability. That is what Cosmos is all about. And you can argue about individual chains, about individual ideas, whether it makes sense or not, about the integrity or commitment of certain teams and projects, right? This is all fluid and dynamic and always evolves. But in the long term, I truly believe in that vision. And here in this channel, I cover the hottest and latest news in Cosmos together with my team at the Cito Zone. We're a team of 4 now. And I think we're doubling down on Cosmos. We're not giving in, we're doubling down, even though Cosmos as an ecosystem collectively has underperformed in the recent year and a half. I think it will have its time, because the technology and the philosophy, the idea is winning, right? And also, by the way, for the records, I want to say that I do not own any I do not own any Mantra. I actually know JP and the Mantra team since 6 years, like even before they started Mantra, but I never invested into Mantra. The only time I got some was to mint Omis, the NFT collection, right? So I have probably like 20 or 30 laying around, but I'm not an investor in I don't hold any which is something that people are portraying or trying to get me to be viewed as the ultimate mantra and whale, but I'm actually not, because I just talk a lot about them, especially in recent weeks and months, because they have done a lot of great things. And yeah, that's just one thing I wanted to clarify. Now, this week is a big week when it comes to conference season, because we're seeing ETH Denver happening, and I'm not going to be there myself, but I think a lot of Cosmos people will be there. Barry, who's sitting here on the right, as well as Mac and people from Interchain Labs. They're also co-hosting an event with DoraHex. And many other side events, more events. Denver is usually a very, very busy week, or like almost a month, because there's just so much going on. Getting tens of thousands of people together. We actually did Atom Denver, the first version of what is now Cosmos XYZ, Cosmos Global, back in 2022 in Denver. That was also the only and last time I was in Denver, but I think, yeah, this is always the conference that kicks things off. Well, there was another panel, though, last week at Penn Blockchain with Zonny, founder of Initia, who's sitting on the left, and then this is Barry, and then next to Barry, we have Brian Crane, founder of Chorus One and former president of the Initia Foundation. And this gentleman, I don't actually know who that is, but they had a conversation around general purpose versus app-specific chains. Basically, the idea of the Fed protocol thesis versus the app chain thesis, right? General purpose being Solana, being Ethereum, and app-specific ones being primarily Cosmos, that also basically stands for this entire vision. And Barry, who is the co-CEO alongside Mark for Interchain Labs, also said in the last week alone, he spoke to 3 new top 100 DeFi protocols that are launching Cosmos chains. Very, very interesting. I don't know which those 3 chains are, but we just heard about Ondo launching a chain. Maybe there's some other major DeFi protocols, right? There's Aave, there's probably Curve. I'm not sure if Curve is still in the top 100 compound. Athena, and many, many others. So we'll see which 3 of those top 100 protocols are going to launch their Cosmos chains. But basically, this proves the whole concept of sovereignty and the app chain thesis. We're also about to see the launch of IBC v2, which is going to enable IBC compatibility with Ethereum, and at the same time also is meant to finally accrue value for Atom by positioning Atom in a way that it is offering a service that captures value from the adoption, integration, and volume and usability of IBC v2, also called IBC Eureka. But at the same time, it doesn't enforce those dependencies. At least that's how I personally understand it. I think we still have to see the exact full plan on how that will look like, what is required for the Cosmos Hub to enable that, and what the economic model for Atom will be. However, there is a big conversation going on right now on Twitter around Barry, who's now super active. Barry and Mac, by the way, go follow them on Twitter. BPIV400, that's Barry's account. Mac is 0x Magmar. You can follow him here as well. They only have 5,000 and 4,300 followers respectively. Austin saying, rotate from coins without a product to coins with one. Vapor to value rotation. And I said this a few weeks ago when we were at peak Memecoin supercycle, AI memes and fartcoin and all these kind of things, where a lot of also content creators were like, throwing out their fundamentals, their base convictions out of the window to chase those narratives, to chase those new shiny things. And I think a lot of them are coming down a lot. And some of them will probably make it. But I said this a couple of weeks and months ago that I'm a mid-curver. I believe in Cosmos. I believe in the app chain thesis, in sovereignty, interoperability, IBC. I truly believe in those foundations, right? And I'm not here for the short term to like chase a new coin that is like totally different to what I stand for and what CryptoCito, CitoZone, and everything that I do stands for, right? And yes, Atom went through a lot. It is a rare token, that is true. It is still not fully out of the woods. I think there's still a chance that Atom is actually not going to make it, right? Like that chance exists also for any other cryptocurrency pretty much. But I think Atom still needs to fix a lot when it comes to also its relations, its vibe, the community, and also the positioning, the value accrual, and the narrative, the storyline, right? I think a lot of things need to be fixed to revive excitement, but it is a hardened core community around Atom that has been backholding for years of no product, which I include myself in. I'm one of the members of that hardened community, and I'm still there. Like I said, my Atom holdings are at an all-time high. Even though in dollar terms, they're like 8 or 10% of my portfolio, simply because other tokens have massively outperformed. But like Akash AKT, for example, that did a 10x or now 7x or whatever, while Atom has been at all-time lows, at least since I bought it in 2018 20 sometime. But now with Megan Berry at the steering wheel with Interchain Labs, I think there's finally a core team. There's finally a core team that is not only now responsible and pushing for the Cosmos tech stack roadmap around Comet BFT, the Cosmos SDK, IBC, but also the Cosmos Hub and Atom roadmap, and also just generally reviving the Cosmos brand and creating content like this here with a new integration, private browsing for Sentinel dVPN, one of the OG chains as well. We're also still one of the validators on Sentinel. I still hold my dVPN bags. My dVPN bags are also at an all-time high. I never really sold any of those. I bought in, I guess, probably around the peak in 2021. Probably not the exact peak, but like 40-50% below the peak. But yeah, down bad, but still I think it's a great product. It's a good team. Small niche, at least for now. But I think once private blockchain-based VPNs take off and this whole privacy sector and narrative gains steam, which I truly believe inevitably will at some point, I think that dVPN will also catch up and do well. At least that's my hope. And also it's a Cosmos chain that has strong product market fit. It's a clear product, right? It has actual demand. It's not some vaporware, meme coin, celebrity thing. It's an actual product. So I think, I truly appreciate that. So yeah, that's that. And they also integrated Atom, which is good to see. Now, on the other hand, like I mentioned, we have these conversations about Atom and IBC v2 that is also finding some criticism, right? So Nash Q is saying here that he doesn't like that the IBC v2 deployment or development completely depends on the hub and what a hub wants to do, which obviously is good for Atom holders like myself. If there would be a level of dependency or enforcement that every IBC transaction has to route through the hub. But I also truly believe that this should not be the case, that it is enforced. I think it should be voluntary, right? I think Gregory Landura, founder of Region Networks, said this like years ago on my channel in a conversation we had, that the Cosmos Hub is a voluntary shelling point, and that really stick with me, and I think it should stay like that. But Barry also explaining more details here, then Jack Semplin chiming in, who has been one of the core IBC engineers and has been building on not only IBC, but also other projects like CCTIP or CCIP, I think from Chainlink, and then also the Torchain bridge and many others. So yeah, there are some fair points also that Jack is bringing up, who is now not actively involved anymore in building out IBC. But yeah, overall, I think it's an interesting conversation and discussion to have. Now, we finally have some big announcements from Agoric, the DCF, who is the organization behind Agoric, and also Interprotocol, the stable token, which is also our media partner here at the Cito zone. So we have this media partnership. I think in recent months it has been a little bit slow with news and updates, and obviously those are things that we want to coordinate better. I think, I have a lot of conversations with Bob and the Interprotocol team, here and there also with the Agoric team, and I think they're true builders. They're they're like mid-curvers like me, right? They're true builders, true fundamentalists, and I think this announcement around Fast USDC is very, very good to see, because now they have a use case to showcase orchestration. And what this basically enables is that cross-chain transfers in USDC can be done under 1 minute and currently take up to 20 minutes. But with Agoric's orchestration, goes a lot faster. And especially in Cosmos, where we have all those different chains, where we have also connections to chains outside of Cosmos, but with Noble being the native issuance chain for USDC, this not only has a strong use case for token transfers, but also when it comes to staking, when it comes to lending, DeFi activities, NFT purchases, and swaps, right? So you can do that all one click, fast USDC. And this is what the Agoric orchestration engine or orchestration contract powers. So that's good to see. At the same time, I really hope for Interprotocol IST to also gain more and more steam, because it is the only decentralized stable token that we have in Cosmos right now. At least that's kind of in production, that's working, that's been around for some time. We talked about their Atom integration, which also gets you droplet points. But I think still the UX is not there where it should be. I think it's still very, very hard and not as intuitive as it should be to use. So I think that is holding back a lot of adoption for Interprotocol. But I think it is definitely important to build out a decentralized stablecoin infrastructure ecosystem in Cosmos, right? Especially after the Terra UST collapse and aftermath. Anyways, that's Agoric. Good to see that. As I mentioned Noble already, they also have their USD unstable token, the Noble dollar, coming very, very soon, which is yield generating. So it actually generates a yield, I think, through US Treasury bills. So it's backed by US Treasury bills in collaboration with M0. And this one is coming out very, very soon. And we also have Mantra now deploying StreamSwap, which is, in my view, the best way to launch a token. Originally developed by the Omniflix team, that is also one of the most underrated, I would say, like unsung heroes in Cosmos. They are like some of the best builders in Cosmos, best vibes, best people. And I think for Omniflix also, they maybe need to elevate a little bit on their narrative storyline and also capture value, because I think Story Protocol has shown, what can be done, how high they can go, and how they can also dominate this entire niche of IP and media, which is something that Omniflix has talked about years ago, like many, 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 many years ago. I remember like 2021, like 4 years ago. And Story is now on the scene, and I think this is also an opportunity for Omniflix. But anyways, StreamSwap is a way where you can do a token sale basically right away, and this has previously only been deployed on Osmosis, which also means you can directly list and create liquidity pools on Osmosis itself. But the way it works is basically you as a token seller, you can set up a pool and you can say, I want this pool to be open for, I don't know, 24 hours, and then there's a bonding curve, and then buyers can basically say, okay, I want to buy 500 Osmo of this token, but instead of like buying it all at once, you are basically streaming, you're constantly DCAing into that position. And the more people buy in, the higher the price will be. So very fair launch concept. And I think this is one of the best ways to launch a token, probably the best way to launch a token. It should have a lot more adoption and visibility. You can play around with it here. You can see now it's on Osmosis, also Injective, and now also on Mantra. They also had their first token launch on Mantra with Bike. That is a meme coin. And that generated them, well, they had two pools here, one USDC, one 350K, and one OM1 47K, which is another $300,000 or something like that. So anyways, that's good to see. On the other hand, we also have more news from Akash Network, an app chain, Cosmos app chain for GPU and the super cloud. And they released this chart here, which shows that Akash is 91% more affordable than Amazon AWS. And also compared to Google Cloud, Azure, all the other providers. And that's exactly why I believe Akash AKT will win, because it's just a superior product and it's more efficient, it's cheaper, right? It's like Uber and taxis, right? Like it's just a superior product. So I think it will win eventually. And this is just a beautiful chart to look at the hard numbers here, but also this one, which was actually featured by Grayscale in their latest report, the growth of Akash fee revenue and GPU leases on accelerated in November 2024 are accelerated. And I think this is also a clear sign, proof basically, that Akash AKT has product market fit and actually demand, which is very rare for a non-DeFi, non-meme coin, non-speculation only, at least, right? Of course, there's speculation with AKT and like this whole AI narrative, but it actually generates revenue, right? And I think this is, and it grows as well, right? It generates growth and revenue. And I think this is very, very important for a project and chain that's been around for as long as Akash has, which is like 4 years, I think, now in production. Now, we also have some news from Sane Network, which is the latest coin to join the World Liberty Finance Treasury, Trump's project, crypto DeFi project. They bought $125,000 worth of Say Network, 548,000 tokens just the other day. Say is a relatively new chain, I would say. I think it's not as hyped as other chains out there. Obviously, now we have a huge competitive landscape when it comes to EVM chains that are in production already, like obviously Ethereum itself, but also the Injectives out there, the Arbitrums, all these L2s, Optimism, right? And Sane Network is also one of them. Now we also have Berachain that just went live, and we have Monad coming up. And there's an interesting comparison here between block time finality and potential theoretical TPS. And apparently Say on DevNet is absolutely killing it, which also implements this parallel EVM execution, similar to how Monad works. I guess in detail, there's like a lot of difference, which I'm not qualified to properly assess because I'm not technical, but definitely interesting chart here. Then also news from dYdX. They have now launched their freshly revised mobile experience, a new app trading with superpowers, a reimagined interface to onboard the next million perp traders to DeFi's most powerful trading platform. You can now trade on mobile on dYdX, and I think this is actually going to onboard a lot of people. And dYdX also just one of the best projects representations for Cosmos, app specific for perps trading. generating revenue, decent trade volume, strong brand, strong team, strong vision, core community, token price down right now, down bad in the basement. But I think sooner or later this thing is gonna thrive. At least my dYdX specs. I'm not fully happy yet. I want to buy more. But that's one of the things I need to stack more is dYdX. Now, we also have Nillion coming up very, very soon. Obviously, I say this since quite some time now, but now it's actually due, like imminent, right? Nillion pushed into March. They were supposed to launch now in February, but they pushed launch into March, probably also because of the market circumstances, because of maybe some final refinements. Because the truth is also like, you kind of only have one launch, right? Like remember FMOS back in the days, like when they had 2 launches and they had to launch again. I think that killed a lot of momentum initially and a lot of traction. But yeah, Nillion, they are about to launch. Definitely one to put in your watch list. With Stakecito, we're also very, very proud to be one of the Genesis validators and also investors into Nillion. So very exciting times for us, of course. And as always, we disclose our investments and our involvements with the validator, or if you're media partners or whatever, which right now we don't really have a lot of media partners at the Cito zone, which is something that we're going to revamp and revise in the coming weeks and months. But at least all the investments that are also now going to be formalized with Cito Ventures work in progress. On the website, you're going to see a full overview of all the projects and chains that I have invested in as Cito Ventures. But yeah, Nillion coming very, very soon, and very exciting launch that is happening. Now, we also shared the 14th edition of Cosmos Bytes. If you prefer reading over listening or watching, then Cosmos Bytes is for you. We made a full thread recap of everything that's cooking in Cosmos, and there's a lot when it comes to NFTs, product launches. We talked about the Noble USDN launch, Initia is coming up very soon, Penumbra as well, Celestia drop, and so on and so forth, Mantra, of course. So a lot of things are cooking. At the same time, you also have the opportunity to earn some money. We just announced the new round of Cito Earn in collaboration with Elys Network, where you can create to earn. So this is a platform that opens up the opportunity for you to create content, whether it's a thread, a tweet, a piece of a blog post, a video, a clip, a YouTube short, anything, right? Like a clip that is well researched, that is accurate with its information, obviously needs to have reach. It needs to have some reach. Then March 23rd is your deadline for submitting that piece of content, and you can go here on this form, fill that out, and you see all the rules there. And then you are potentially going to win some money, like either Atom or USDC. And I think this is a good opportunity. To be honest, when I started with content, like I wish something like this was like easily accessible, right? Because this is really what initially onboards people also and motivates people. Because I think it can be very, very demotivating if you enjoy doing content, but there's just no way, or you can't really think about how do you eventually monetize that, right? And you have to, because you're putting in a lot of time into that. So this is a good start to obviously increase the reach for those projects and Cosmos technology in the end of the day, but at the same time also to motivate new content creators to join the space. Now, also, we moved our Cito report from MailChimp to Substack, and I kindly ask you to subscribe to our Substack newsletter. So the Cito report is now here. We're actually going to push out a lot more newsletters. We used to do monthly, now we're probably doing weekly, but it's also a lot of work and a lot of time and effort that goes into it. But I think it is very valuable. And we're seeing, based on the opening rates, based on the feedback we're getting, some people even pledge like $8 a month or something. Like, this is an entirely free newsletter, but on Substack you can basically pledge to pay for that, or to donate or compensate for that service. So that's definitely much appreciated, but not necessary. But I definitely truly appreciate. And Tang, who is leading that newsletter here on the Cito Zone team, he's also very, very grateful and excited for that. So kindly go over to the bottom of the video description. You'll find a couple of links here. Number one, you'll see the Cito Plus link, which you can subscribe to, led by Sepmos, with a product for Cito Plus. That's a monthly membership of $39 that you can get premium content for founder AMAs. We actually have one coming up very, very soon. I'm going to announce it quite soon in the Cito Plus group. Notifications on airdrops, real-time notifications per email, also walkthrough tutorials. And if anybody has any question, like, we're immediately answering, like, or at least supposed to immediately answer, right? But yeah, that's that. And then Cito report, you can find the Substack link here. And then if you want to trade on dYdX, we have a special referral link that also saves you on trading fees, but also gets a commission, an affiliate commission to us. So that's much appreciated. Now, finally, quick round of news. Namada teasing a character, which eventually might also be a NFT collection called Adaman or Adaman. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but yeah, Pixel NFT collection, maybe in the works. We'll see. But Namada token launch or Namada IBC transferability is also supposed to come very soon. Then we have a new Twitter account, Babylon Foundation, gearing up for the Babylon token launch. The baby token is around the corner. So watch out for that. Babylon has a $6 billion TVL or 5.5 billion TVL, something like that. In that context, breaking news that I'm just sharing as I'm recording this video, the news dropped that the baby airdrop registration is now live. Be very, very cautious and always double, triple, quadruple check before you click on any of those links, especially given that the Babylon Twitter account is brand new and does not have the golden check yet. Anyways, this is legit. You can come here, click on that link, the official Babylon registration link, and you'll see who is eligible for that. You will see that phase 1 stickers are eligible, phase 1 finality providers, and also contributors to 2 eligible GitHub repositories, which also includes Cosmos contributors. Also, there will be a social airdrop that will be for social media contributors from the first Bitcoin staking cap on August 2024 before February 19th. So if you've been tweeting or creating content around Babylon, then you might be eligible for that airdrop. And the baby token in that context is coming very, very soon. And I think it's going to be a juicy airdrop and also one of the most highly anticipated Cosmos chains that is launching. Then also Initia that has also announced something very interesting with drop.money, which is basically a tokenized LP position of Init and USDC, but also can be staked in enshrined liquidity. So that's very interesting. Basically, you're accruing staking rewards and you're also accruing fees from that LP position, as far as I know. I'm not sure how that works with impermanent loss, but yeah, definitely interesting concept, interesting idea. And I think Initia is also one of the most highly anticipated launches. At least for now, we're not running any infrastructure for Initia. I'm not invested in Initia. I don't hold any Initia. I have no affiliation with them, but I think it is definitely going to be an interesting launch and one of the biggest Cosmos launches that is coming in the near future. For Saga, I am an investor and we are running a validator, but they just announced the Vault 2.0 criteria. Quick update here, there are going to be 2 type of vaults. One is going to be the activity vaults, and then we have loyalty vaults. The TLDR is basically right now you don't have to take any additional action. We are going to share real-time notifications to all Cito Plus members per email and also tag them in our Discord to be first notified when those things are live. And then whenever I do the next video here on the channel, I'll also keep you posted, of course. And eventually there will be more predictable rewards. So 200,000 tokens will be distributed monthly to incentivize staking. 2 million will be distributed for LP providers, and then an additional 1.8 million for the loyalty vaults. So that is the new program, and I think the liquidity integration layer for Saga cannot come soon enough, especially considering that in April we're going to have the first unlocks coming. I have invested into Saga like 2022, so a long time ago. Full disclosure from my side, I did stake my Saga investment, and yes, the staking rewards are liquid, but until now, over the past nearly year, I have not sold a single Saga from that. And like it used to be a lot, like especially when it went live at like $4 or $5, whatever. Like selling those staking rewards would actually be like very, very nice. But I didn't do it because also the thing is like if I do that, then it's just it will affect my reputation. And I think for me it's more important to be aligned in the long term, also for the sake of my relation and like as a investor with Cito Ventures, I do not believe that just like maximizing, like squeezing every cent of profit makes a lot of sense, especially if you're public facing, right? And like out there, like I am. I think for me, it makes more sense to play the long game. And that's what I've been doing. And that's what I also am doing with Saga here. And also like if the unlock's happening, I'm not going to like unstake and just sell my Saga tokens, right? Even if it goes to like $2, $3, unless there's some huge bill I need to pay suddenly or something happens, of course, right? But that's not the case right now. But just so you understand how I also think about those things and like investing in general and also these early stage investments, right? But I think also generally speaking, it should not be the case, like the default case that like staking rewards are not vested or subject to the vesting schedule, which is something that also now other projects are actually implementing, right? Like Movements or Initia, they're also not either enabling staking for early investors or at least also making those rewards subject to the vesting schedule. Finally, a different thing, which is not actually Cosmos, but Monad, just launched their testnet, and with Stakecito, we will be trying hard to get into their testnet and mainnet as a validator, of course. So any support is much, much appreciated. If you know anyone in Monad, please shill us to them. It's going to be highly competitive, but I think Monad is definitely interesting. And with this evolving landscape in the EVM space, I think it's just very, very important, especially for like node providers, infra providers, to go with the flow, right? To be in the pulse of innovation. And like Monad is one of the most innovative projects that also happened to raise $250 million. And I think their launch is going to happen sometime in like probably later this year, like Q3, Q4, in terms of like mainnet launch. But yeah, the testnet went live. As always, I think I'm saying this here right now to be very, very clear. Yes, testnet live, there might be an airdrop, but I think especially for like doing basic transactions on a testnet, which is like the Monad testnet is probably going to be as farmed as the Berachain testnet. So do not expect an airdrop at all if you're playing around with testnet. Like don't waste your time to spend a lot of time on the Monad testnet just to get the airdrop. That said, there could be an airdrop. Who knows? I don't know. For sure, I don't know. But yeah, just so you know, like don't waste your time only with the goal to get an airdrop, because likely that's probably not going to make you rich, because you're not the only one with this idea, right? There's like tens of thousands, probably hundreds of thousands, plus like a lot of farmers that have like hundreds, maybe thousands of wallets, automated bot systems, right, that are farming those chains like 100 times more and faster than you ever can if you do all of that manually, right? Anyways, that's that. I hope you enjoyed the video. Of course, like I always say, don't give up. There's another chance to get tokens cheap, to get quality projects with strong fundamentals, with actual product market fit. We talked about a lot of these projects today, like dYdX, like Akash Network, even like Sentinel, right? Which is just a small example because Sentinel does have very low traction at the moment in the broader context of crypto. It's a very kind of cold narrative right now, the entire privacy narrative. But also if you look at Penumbra, if you look at Namada, even if you look at Elys, which is also content partners here at Cito, those are all quality projects, chains, and teams. I hold all of these tokens, or most of them. Also narratives that are currently very cold, right? Even Passage, right? Clear product market fit, strong team, but it's just not their time right now. And I think if they get it right, if they pull through, if they also work on their economics and also understand that their token is part of the product, or actually the main product, right? At least that's what most people in crypto, how they see it, right? It's like they look at the token. Then I think those projects will do very, very well, and the coins will do very well in the bull run. Anyways, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, follow Cito on Twitter. I'll see you very soon. Until then, stay safe and be good.